Hey, it's Steve Peterson with Infinity Investments, and welcome to our channel. And on this channel, we talk all things commercial and investment properties with the investor and the broker and agent of commercial and investment properties in mind. And for today's topic, we're going to be talking about, is now the right time to sell your commercial investment property? Now being January 2021. But I think this is a question that is always asked of investors. Investors, we ask this of ourselves. There's always going to be brokers reaching out to you, asking you that question. Maybe if you have partners, you guys need to be asking that question on a regular basis. Is now the right time to sell? And now is always going to be no matter what time you're in. Right now, we're in this pandemic. So it's a very, very interesting topic, and it's something that I want to address because it's something that I am dealing with on a regular basis. I like to give you guys videos and content based on the stuff that I'm dealing with while I'm in the trenches. And this is a question that a lot of people are struggling with now. But I've got 3 things that I want to share with you about, is this the right time to sell your commercial property? Okay, number 1 is to let your investment plan be the guide, not the market situation. Okay, first of all, I've done a video and also a webinar on selecting your investment criteria. Within that video, we talk about the importance of your investment plan. And what I'll say is that as an investor, you should have an investment plan similar to what an entrepreneur has for their business. So we all, as business owners, will have a business plan. And many times we update that business plan on an annual basis. You got to have one of those as an investor, right? Therefore, let that plan be the guide on when you sell and not necessarily market situations. Now, and I say that to say that you want to have a game plan of when you're going to sell. You see, some people within their plan is to never sell. They say, I'm going to buy this property, I'm going to buy and hold forever. That may be their strategy, and that can work for a lot of people. But if your plan is to, buy, hold, exchange up, well, which is what I experienced, my experience, that's most investors out there. Most investors are saying, hey, look, I'm going to buy this property, and when it matures in value or whatever, we want to exchange it up to the next one or a different type of property or a different market, okay? Then you need to be really considering when is the best time to sell, all right? And the key is what I'm saying here, let the plan guide you, is make cool-headed decisions, all right? Don't let the market or situations just drive you into making emotional decisions. You're making decisions based on, here's the plan, here's the process, this is what we're trying to accomplish. So when we sell, we're selling because we want to exchange up, or we're selling because we feel like now we want to take the cash and be in a cash position to buy when, there's better deals out there. Not just because, it's a pandemic and, maybe we should sell, all right? And here's the reality. We in a pandemic. Maybe not the most ideal time to sell. However, okay, it might be time to sell based on what your plan is. All right, we know the commercial real estate market is a bit down, especially if you're in office, retail, hospitality. Multifamily is a mixed bag, but rents are a little bit lower here in the Bay Area. Vacancies are a little bit higher. Certain areas, though, rents are up. Vacancies are down. All right, so it depends on your plan. Let the plan help you make some decisions. Okay, that's very, very important because now you're not going to be just, beholden to the whims of the market, the roller coaster that could be the market. All right, and that means that you got to have a good operational team. Right, and that goes back into when you make your investment plan, having a strong, solid team is really, really critical. Okay, but what I'm trying to help people out is to make quality decisions based on the end goal in mind. Within any period of time, there's going to be up markets, there's going to be down markets, there's going to be just difficult times of doing things. There's going to be where financing is more readily available. There's going to be times where financing is really not available, right? Financing, the money right now is out there, but it's a little bit harder to get. It's harder to qualify for these commercial loans. Okay, they're really lenders, but the lenders are flush with cash though. That's where it's a little bit different than the Great Recession because a lot Lenders have cash to lend. They're just being very selective about what they're going to do. So when you're thinking about if you're going to sell or not, you really just need to, first and foremost, look to your plan and truly evaluate. Can we, if it's a tough time, do we ride this out? Or, hey, do we sell, even though we might take not a loss, but we might make less money to go into a different product type, a different asset class, or just a bigger building, okay? Let the plan be the guide, okay? Number 2, understand market timing, all right? So this is important. Now, it's a book that made an impact on me. It's called Time in the Real Estate Market by Craig Hall. It was a part of the CCIM book club. I'm part of NorCal CCIM. I read the book. It really was a profound book for me because it was a guy who, not a lot of books are written on, timing the market, which is definitely an art and a science and a skill and all those things. All of those things. It's not a crystal ball, right? In that book, he talks about the different markets that he's been through. And they're almost all a little bit different, but they're almost all very similar. Okay, so you want to understand the market, all right, in general, in terms of, price per units, cap rates, kind of where we are in the market cycle. Are you at a peak? Are you at a trough? All those types of things, okay? One thing I will say to you on that is, and what he says in the book is, nobody really knows exactly when the peak or when the trough is going to be. So trying to wait for that maximum peak or trying to buy at the absolute trough is not advised. What you got to do is look at the indicators and see, are we looking like we're going to top out in a little while? I've been saying this for the last couple of years, by the way, in my videos. Hey, I think we might be topping out in the commercial real estate market. Definitely think here in the Bay Area, we've topped out, right? And so if you were thinking of selling, it might have been a good time in 18 and 19 to go ahead and do that. But maybe you were thinking, I'm going to let it ride a little bit. Now you're in 2021, and now you're like, I want to sell. Okay, and market timing wise might not be the best time to sell. However, again, it goes back to point number 1. What is your plan? Because you could potentially sell in this market and still be in line with your plan, right? What you don't want to do is be in a panic situation and just sell it just because, okay? Now, coming from the guy who gets paid to sell properties, right? I want to make sure I preface this with that. I think every sale should be done based on a calculated move in regards to your plan. However, to point number 2, you need to understand market timing, right? In the commercial real estate world, it's also very, very different than the residential real estate world, okay? There's a lot more info and data in general in residential real estate. 2 wildly different markets, by the way. Like in the Bay Area, houses are still going up in value, whereas office buildings, retail buildings are not so much, right? So you really need to dial into your market, that specific area, the sub-markets, okay, your product type. And I think it's also good to know what else is going on. If you're a multifamily guy, it's a little bit good to know what's going on in office or retail. You don't have to be an expert, but just to have an understanding of what's going on around you, okay, and where we are at in the cycle, okay, peak, trough, so on and so forth. And the more you spend time doing that over time, because we're going to talk about investing, this is a long-term thing. It could be, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is. In that book, Time in the Real Estate Market, he goes all the way back from like the 50s to like the 2000s, right? So he's been through a few things. That's why I think it helped me out a lot, because a lot of times when you read books, they're just talking about all the peaches and cream, okay? And Craig Hall in that book he got real. He talked about some of his losses and that, and how that related to the market and the timing, okay? So study market timing, read that book, all right? But again, that's point number 2, and I think that needs to be secondary into your investment plan, okay? But understanding market timing should be a part of your investment plan. That's what I'm saying here. All right, and point number 3 is that look at the big picture. If you are thinking of selling, all right, look at your plan, look at the market, where are we at, but look at the bigger picture. Here's what I mean by that. Say you need to sell right now, depending on where you're at, because everywhere's a little bit different, by the way, too. But depending on where you're at, hey, market, you might have missed the peak of the market, right? But maybe you're really thinking you could benefit from a sale. Keep the bigger picture in mind, because, hey, when you sell, you might take a little bit less on the sale end, but you probably also could buy and have a lot more negotiated leverage. Meaning, so especially if you're exchanging. The challenge that we've had over the last few years is people exchange, sell their property, no problem, but have a really tough time buying the replacement property, right? And a lot of times people would buy something where maybe the numbers were not as good as the property that they sold before. So yeah, you sold and you made a bunch of money, but maybe on the buy side it was tougher. In that process, you really need to be dialed in. I got videos on selecting the right investment property and we're doing an exchange in terms of what's the best way to do it. But understand, look at the bigger picture is what I'm saying. It's not all about, okay, if I sell now, I'm not going to make as much money as I did in 2019. Maybe that's the case. You might put the property in, maybe it's not multiple offers like we got in 2019 on almost everything. But when you sell, and by the way, deals are still happening in the Bay Area in commercial real estate, right? Big deals too. Now you can exchange and you got a little bit more leverage, as a buyer when you're in that exchange. You got a little bit more leverage at that point. So that's what I'm saying is look at the bigger overall picture when you're thinking about selling. Because a lot of times, you're going to be doing exchange. And let's just say you're not doing exchange. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a pile of cash and there was deals all around you? It wouldn't have been cool to have a couple $1 million in 2009 rolled around. And I'm not saying we're going into 2009, I don't know. But all I'm just saying is if you're thinking of selling, think about the bigger, why are you selling? What's the purpose of selling? What is that going to accomplish for you? How is that in line with your investment plan? How is that in line with the market? And if you took a little bit less money, what can that get you? You know what I mean? Figure that out. Also, if it's a property that's just bothering you every day, it's keeping you up at night, it's a thorn in your side. If you were to sell that, what kind of mental real estate could that free up for you to refocus on another property or another business venture or something else? Sometimes when you're in a bad property or something that's bothering you, it takes up a lot of mental space. You get stressed out. It becomes difficult to operate. Consider that when you're thinking about selling. Okay, so I hope these things help out. I hope they really, put into perspective whether this is time for you to sell or not. I will be interested to see your comments. If you're a seller, if you're a broker, tell me what you think about. And I'm here in Oakland. I know, like, for instance, things will be different in Sacramento. Things will be different in Stockton. Things will be different in LA. Things will be different in Dallas, in Houston, Miami, wherever you are, other parts of the world. Chime in on this. I want to hear your feedback because I think we need to be talking about these things as a marketplace. I hope this helps. Like and subscribe if it does. I hope you guys have a great rest of your investing career. Peace out.